Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of Undead Unluck! And last time we found out Andy's past. Andy had a Superman 3 moment where he had to fight Victor in his mind and try and keep Fuko protected from being from having her soul obliterated into the ether. We we find out that Andy and Fuko now are a lot more tighter. We find out a little bit of Andy's past and how he feels, um, about death and everything. It was very poignant, very poignant. Beautiful character progression. Fuko and Andy, really having that nice chemistry going there as a couple. It's really nice. And having her hanging on his back like Yoda is so hilarious. Oh man! But so now weird things are happening in the real world as Fuko and Andy successfully defeated Victor, and we gotta find out what Under is up to because apparently they have found unknown. So, let's get reading, everybody. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosuka, chapter number 046. See you in the here and now. Andy and Fuka are holding on to the Pokeball containing Victor's head within Andy's mind. They sat around the rubble as flames lit up the sky from the destruction Victor left behind. I'm sure wouldn't I sure wouldn't be able to escape from this thing, but he's an exception. He'll probably burst out of there in no time. Victor said as he and Fuko stared at the ball. Fuku's eyes turned to sadness as she looked as she thought about Victor. I see. Did you make it to 1865? He asked. About that, she said. Victor ended up driving me away. You don't say! In that case, you should go while you got the chance. Andy? I want to talk to Mr. Victor, she said. Okay, gotta ask why hi. I came here to learn more about you, Andy. And Victor is part of you, right? So I want to learn about him. Instead of sneaky peeks into his past, I think it might be better to have a chat with him about it. Okay. You heard the little lady, Victor. You can bust out of there any way you can, can't you? And suddenly, the Pokeball started fizzing out. It was showing cracks. And his whole entire body regenerated, but the ball as a cap. He presented himself in all his glorious nakedness as Fuko stared right at his girth and screamed, "Eek! Huh!" And she threw a punch right into the right into the hot dogs, and he merely looked at it unimpressed. Shouldn't you be used to seeing that by now? Cut that out. I'm not used to seeing anything like that. Would it hurt you to have a little self-control? She said as Victor completely dropped to his knee as his censorship bar slowly showed cracks around his beaming nakedness. Victor stood up and clothes immediately covered his glory, and Fuko was shocked. Huh? But Chloe isn't here. Chloe? How are you able to make clothes? I'm a soul sealed off by my counterpart, Victor said. You're a soul that entered from the outside. A familiar outfit can easily be made by just imagining it. Huh? The same applies to your clothes. They're a reflection of what you're currently wearing, imagining. You're in fact actually naked. You're a naked ghost, and you're just pretending that you're in those clothes. Oh, right. I wasn't in this outfit before I turned in the book. So, what? Victor said. What kind of relationship did you have with Miss Julie? How dare you? That is a private memory. I don't have to tell you how we did it or anything. What our relationship is none of your business. But when we first met, you were fighting with the union members, so I had a bad image of you in my head. But, her sweat began to build up around her face. I saw it. It was fragmented and not very clear, but still. I saw you and Miss Juiz create the organization. I saw you two working together. She said as the memory of Apocalypse sitting in the center of the table with Juiz and Victor on each end with the numbers 1 and 2 barely built the whole organization. Victor said, Apocalypse showing what he should have, huh? What a pervert. He probably saw what we did. Well, if those memories were true, then why? Fuko said. Are you trying to interfere with our plans? Weren't you a member of Round Table yourself? Oh, I see. You're just like Juiz. Wait, me? Just like Juiz? What? Why? How? What part of me? I don't... I mean, really? Juiz! Andy said, puzzled. Good point. Andy said, Victor said, you have no class, no sex appeal, and you're stumpy with a raccoon dog face round with puppy eyes, with big puppy eyes. And Fuko felt the word stab deep into her heart, that she completely crumpled in its place. But you're heedless of danger when it comes to helping those you cherish, and you're willing to bet it all for them. That spirit, that soul, that's what you have. And Andy patted Fuko on the head as she listened on. As I look at the both of you, you remind me of our past selves. At first, things went well, he said. Step by step, we overcame the quest and got closer to clearing them. As his memory showed more members added to the round table. But I soon realized, he said as he stared out at the giant star flaming into space. We couldn't win. No matter how many hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of years passed, God's life was out of our grasp, he said as he stood naked in the moon. We should have backed down. Even if we continued, we'd only be dancing in the palm of God's hands. Still, she wouldn't give up, he said as his memory showed the current team walking with Juiz through the facilities. She figured by employing the best options one by one that she would reach God one day. So she boarded the Ark and looped over and over again. She's a fool. You can't do Groundhog's Day without having Harold Ramis directing the whole thing. Also, she isn't immortal. She should just die and save herself the trouble. That's why I decided to kill her. But why do that? Fuko said. What kind of man wants to see the woman he loves suffer? What kind of man am I to allow such a thing? I'm a punk for allowing this to happen. And I gotta be the man I'm supposed to be for her. And put this knife right into her belly and end it all. Mr. Victor, that's pretty violent. That's not how relationships should work. Well, she won't give up until she dies, kid. Just like you right now. But, now that I think about it, I've changed my mind. I'm gonna snap her neck instead. That last stroke of unluck you both unleashed, that was a sign of evolution. He stared out at the broken Pokeball. Knowing that no unluck would mortally wound me, you ended up summoning a capture tool. The fact that you put me in a Pokeball says a lot. I'm not gonna fight your battles for you, you know? Go get yourself a Lapras or a Moltres. Maybe one of those Mewtwo's that people like to duplicate. The same Unluck that only dealt physical damage before transferred into Unluck personalized for the target. No doubt, journeying with my counterpart yielded a better understanding of your target. Fuko immediately blushed as Andy rested his chin on her head. Which means, if you research and figure out God, your Unluck will reach them. I'll interfere no longer. Give it a try. Just remember, if you suck, I'm taking over. And I'm gonna kill Juice. Maybe I'll do a backbreaker like Bane. Maybe that'll get it through her head. And she could just die old. But wait just a second. Why the backbreaker? Anyway, what happened? What about 1865? What happened? Also, I don't actually know how to get back outside. That information is of no use to you now. Just keep marching forward and stop looking in the past. But if you must know, you ought to ask Juice. If you want to get out of here, just kiss my counterpart there. And I don't mean just a peck on the cheek like earlier either. You gotta put out, woman. Huh? What? Then consciously control your Unluck. Think of what death would be to my counterpart the whole time through. And suddenly, Andy grabbed grabbed Fuko by the cheeks as she blushed, and he pulled her close to him, and they had a very tender kiss as Victor walked into the horizon without looking back. Hey, don't cry, Andy said. Just never forgetting all that jazz, right? Yeah, Fuko cried. But I'm gonna be on the outs. But I'm gonna be one with the me on the outside. He said as Fuko floated away, turning into a ghost, and the book is slowly closing on the chapter of Andy's life. And I'll be even better equipped to woo over you. So get over yourself, woman. Yeah, I can't wait to be a woman. Later. See you in the here and now. And the book closed on Andy, and his whole entire past has come to an end. And Fuko returns to the real world. To be continued. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Chapter number 047. Akira Kuno. Or Kuno Akira, depending on how you speak. Akira Kuno was raised by a single mother, the narrator said, as a young woman with her daughter sat in the same bed reading stories together. A peculiar child, he would have his mother read him manga at bedtime. But it wasn't long before his mother became the listener, as her son told her tales from his imagination. He created the characters, plotted the stories, and drew the pictures. He loved how his stories put a smile on his mother's face. Oh, crap. Where's my second page? Oh, no. Wait, I only have one page? Oh, okay. Hold on. Here we go. I didn't lose my page. We want to learn about the future, Unrepair said. The part that you didn't draw out, that is. You better talk unless you want to your life, risking limb. You better talk unless you want you're risking your life and limb for to really get cut down to size. Unrepair said as he smiled at a kneeling unknown holding very tightly to Autumn's claw. She immediately put a pen into her mouth and smiled. Oh, no way, mon chéri. Aside, he said. You already know the past and future, right? What good was saving those two, do you? Oh, mon ami, saving them? Oh, you've got it all wrong. Enough chit-chat. He jumped into the air, launched himself into the air, and threw a few of his blades, and unknown immediately blocked with Autumn's claw. You wasted my time, he said. And the blade went right through the drawing and sliced unknown's arm and off. Oh, the little boy said, and the narrator spoke. It was his dream to have his mother read a book he created. The little boy was walked into the alleyway and found something on the floor. What is this? Wow, a G-pen. The name of the artifact is G-Liner. The first to touch it can see the past and future events of the current time loop in its entirety. At that moment, all the memories of this loop flooded into Akira Okuno's mind. It was like a full wave of speed lines drilling into him at such a high pace. However, rather than freaking out and going into madness, he smiled with glee. Wow, what is this amazing story? Negators, Uma, artifacts? This is a sci-fi extravaganza. I can't waste my time standing here. He ran out of the the alley and completely inspired. I need to hurry and talk to Mom. Gah! He phased through a man all of a sudden. I'm very sorry for bumping into you. I guess I got too excited for my own good. And he looked back. And at the same time he also became a negator. Huh? Back at his home, he started drawing all sorts of characters that the artifact was drilling into his mind. Gotta draw the characters while I can, then I'll show them to Mom. I wonder who she'll like best. Maybe Rip? As for me, it's gotta be me. Oh, she's back. He heard the sound of a click in the house. He ran downstairs with a smile on his face as his mother happily took her shoes off, ready to relax for the rest of the day. I'm back. I ended up grabbing takeout for dinner. Sorry, Mom. Check these out. Akira said as he ran right for her. I drew a whole bunch of them. Pretty cool, huh? You can have this one. She presented the picture of Rip. He's called Rip, and she phased right through his whole body. He stood in place, wondering what the heck happened. And his mother screamed out, Akira, I've got croquettes from the meat shop. Come before they get cold. Akira Kuno. Compulsory activation type negator. Moments later, his mother was on the phone, in a frantic as Akira stared at her, wondering what's going on. Yes, that's right. I can't find him anywhere, she said on the phone. He's not at any of his friends' houses either. I'm begging you, please, find my child. And tears welled up in Akira's eyes. His speech, his conduct, any attempt he made to be seen went completely undetected by any other living being. He stood, even with the police, even with his arms around her, and the police listening in. No matter how hard he tried to yell, no matter how much he tried to touch, no one, not a single person noticed him, as his face was planted on a milk carton. Where could you be? She said in tears as she hugged his book bag. I'm right here, he said. Are you alive? His mother asked. I am, he answered. Please, God, please. Please let Akira be alive somewhere with a smile on his face. Yeah, she said as he listened on. Please let him continue to draw the manga that he loves so much. And he broke down into tears. He walked he left the house all on his own in the snowy the snow-packed winter. He thought to himself, I'm most likely a negator, which means this ability will stay with me until I die. Maybe I should just die then. No, I should. The characters I loved the most from the story that rushed into my brain that day, the ones called Andy and Fuko, they didn't run away from their abilities. They fought to the very end. He drew Fuko and Andy in his sketch with big smiles on their faces. So I'll fight with my pen, he said as he drew frantically, to make my mom's wishes come true. My mom's wish for me to come true. As he began drawing all the scenes that we had witnessed in the previous chapters, and and so that she can one day learn of the brave actions of the people who taught me this lesson. I practice a lot and draw on a one-shot to submit. I debated using Andy and the Other's tale, but I wanted to try penning my own story. The title is To You From Me, an ordinary young romance novel. And so he thought, a pen name, huh? Well, no one's gonna read it, so I guess it doesn't much matter. Who knows? Unknown. Unknown. And there was the article that said, we have a winner. To you from me. Huh? Winner. Winner. Unknown. There was no contact info, so please contact us ASAP. We plan to serialize your submission right away. I can do this as unknown. So long as I don't draw anything tying them to Akira Kuno, I could share this story, he thought as people were picking up copies of To You From Me at various bookstores. Gina, smiling with glee, presenting Mr. Nico her copy of the book. With everyone. The anime displayed on screen. And and of course at the hospital where a nurse presented a copy of the book to Miss Kuno. This manga's all the rage nowadays, the nurse said. Me. You should give it a try, Miss Kuno. And as Miss Kuno read it, she smiled. Oh my. The art's quite lovely, isn't it? To which Unknown says, they are, mon chéri. The reason I'm alive, ha ha. That's why now I'm going to save them. On guard, ho ho. And emerging from the book was Andy and Fuko catching Rip off guard. To be continued, Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca, chapter number 048. A story I won't see coming. Coming. But it is the coming. Rip stood in shock, was in absolute shock in the air as he watched, as he was ready to finish off Anon Un. No, Sean, not yet. I'm over this. If I kill that brat, then I'll have a seat higher than yours, Sean said. What kind of voice is this? Anyway, I'm through taking orders from the guy who sliced open my stomach. And I popped out from the middle of nowhere as Fuko's sleeping body rested behind the book. Flashback. Unknown Un uh, uh, Unknown continued. Wait a second. Okay, I think we're fine. Unknown stuff continued recalling the memories. Aha! A while after I got serialized, I recalled those memories again. She said as she remembered being in the office drawing thinking about what to draw. I thought about those two in their story and whether it was all true. Ha ha ha. Well, to which then she looked at to which unknown looked at the calendar. Well, it sure felt. It, I'm curious. You know what? I'll take a chance. Well, it sure felt real, but still, I just can't believe. Oh yeah. Unknown looked at the calendar and realized the date. That reminds me. August of this year is when Andy should be in Japan learning quick draw sword techniques. Unknown continued narrating. If I let this chance pass me by, then Andy wouldn't be back in Japan until August of 2020. Oh, I was still skeptical, mon ami, but I relied on my memories and rushed up to where he would be. Oh, man, I need to exercise more. Why do I keep eating crepes? Whoa, is that a tree? He said as he dodged a fallen tree and avoided potential death. He looked up, and there he saw Andy being trained by a mysterious monk floating in the air as he sheathed his sword. Well done. That is the Kikor Moonlight Style Quick Draw Slash, the Waxing Moon. He is real, oh my. And he is here, right before my very eyes. Here's your Japanese quick draw, Josh, he said, as as he did something with the sword, and and Josh completely collapsed over. Wait. Oh, that's unknown. I couldn't. Oh my gosh, this was not a very good planned out panel here. Andy, bahum. Unknown said, phasing through Andy's body and falling onto the floor. Well, it's been fun. Later, you sigh. What? You mastered all our arts in just one short year. The young trainer said. I will not let such immense talent slip away. Don't you think fate for this to happen? Stay here. And I want an heir to continue our legacy with you. I'm sure my late father would be pleased indeed. Unknown listened on in shock. See? Sure. Hold on. You already have Foucault, mon ami. Don't you, Andy? If you can, outlive me, that is. See you around. Oh, that's right. The gators are always suffering. Unknown narrated as as Yusai lowered tipped his hat as Andy walked through the forest, leaving them behind. The same went for all the others, mon ami. And although they struggled with the negation power so unreasonably thrust upon them, they still fought to kill God. Ho ho ho! As every single member, wow, was racked in pain of their experiences, with Shen watching a friend fall to his doom, and Billy mourning a friend, and Nico waking up in a panic and Top saying goodbye to a precious friend. However, Unknown continued narrating, if these memories are right, I unfortunately already know they'll be defeated by Fuko and Undead. She said as Victor stared out with tears pouring out of his eyes, the giant sun melting the earth, with Jui's body protected by his shadow. And should that be allowed to happen? Unknown continued narrating. Of course not. None of the others know of this fact. The only one who does know is me, and of all people. This must be fate's way of toying with me. Is there some way, any way? Mon ami, I could tell them directly on my own, but there must be a way. Oh ho, for me to relay them to the future. That's it. Oh, was that? You know, it's hard to tell. Alright, well, either way. That's it, mon ami. This manga. Unknown realized as he stared down at the new panel, the new set of panels. Under the name Unknown, I can get my work out to the world. It's a loophole to the rules. Oh ho! If I could use this exploit, then I could include details about the future. But is this really the best I can do? If I were to recreate everything as is, then would it also not any growth that they're supposed to have? Ho ho! Driven by a range of thoughts and emotions, they're risking their lives, learning and growing. She narrated as Jui's Billy, Andy, and Fuko posed in her memories. Be it Andy's past or the details behind Billy's betrayal, there's a meaning behind the process of learning, of knowing. I just need to pick the right stories to change the future for the better. Ho ho ho! Unknown started drawing. My top priority will be the autumn battle. That's the bridging point. Okay. My top priority, he said, will be the autumn battle. That's the bridging point. As he pointed out as Andy and Fuko stared down Autumn, ready to attack. A single solitary oversight is my one chance, so I'll be certain to change it, and to do so I'll collect everything I need, he said, as he was somehow inside the Union's library, where Gina, Nico, and Juice did not notice him. Hey, hey, where's the encyclopedia that was here? Gina said. Great, you lost it again, Nico said as they were searching for the book. It wasn't me this time. No. Everyone else is working hard, Unknown said as he walked through the swamps. And I am in the gator too. And he pulled out a Dragon Ball from within the water. So this time I'll be the one to help them all. Next day, the day it all happens, December 5th, 2020. Today, on this very day, he said, as Rip successfully sliced Unknown present day Unknown arm off, and Fuko's ghost slowly emerged out of the book, along with Andy, as the book slowly reformed his body, and her sleeping body was awakened by the entry of her own soul. I'll go for the throat, Sean said, with his eye wide open. This is the moment. Unknown said, past Unknown said as Andy's body completely reformed and jumped into the fray. Spray out as much as you can, Sean said as he stared at Fuko's sleeping body. An unknown present day unknown screamed out, "Ande, mon ami, ho ho!" And that's when Andy stared down at his opponent and said, "Deadline now!" He punctured his skin on his right hand, and with one swing, he sliced everything. He sliced everything within a 360 radius. Rip successfully matrixed right underneath the whole blade, and so did the mysterious Sean. And the narrator spoke. December 5th, 2020, in the future, Akira Kuno saw. In the middle of battling autumn without unknown present, unseen's invisible deadly blade silently struck. Rip had a big smile on his face as Fuko slowly opened her eyes. And killed Fuko Izumi. Unseen's invisible deadly blade slightly struck and killed Fuko Izumi. However, now wow. That's a twist. Wow. I did not see that coming. Andy Andy took his was standing in his JoJo pose. Took his JoJo pose with his blade stretched out. Anon slowly falls onto Fuko's lap as everybody stared at the mysterious unseen lying sliced in half, dead. Fuko found Unknown smiling. "Oh, I did it, mon ami. This is the end of what I know, and the start of a story I won't see coming. Ha ha!" Wow. To be continued. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Wow. Wow. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Chapter number 049. It's all ours. As manga pages rained in the sky, Rip stared down in shock at what he just saw. He didn't know what to believe. All he could do was speak. Sean believed this rule required him to close both of his eyes. I thought we'd found the good workaround, but yeah. Not with an attack that huge thrown at him, I guess. He got too uncomfortable being unseen thanks to his arrogance. He wasn't able to react in time. Rip slowly lifted his body up to stand up straight as the weird bunny was splurting out blood. Well, later, Sean. Huh? Fuko eyes open. She looked down at Unknown, then looked up at the standing half body. Oh, the bottom half of a body, but whose? Sensei, your right arm, it's And Fuko was ready to throw up, but she held on as her eyes slowly teared and the half body slowly falls over. Fuko! That guy was unseen, the negator that got taken by Under. And based on where he's standing, I'm certain he was aiming to kill you. If Unknown hadn't spoke up, things could have ended up far worse. Andy said as his blood splurted out of the wound and keeping guard of Fuko. So get over it. I taught you in the book, didn't I? You forgot already? And Fuko swallowed her vomit down her throat. My God. Just spit it out. Just spit it out. Word of advice. If vomit ends up in your mouth, just spit it out. Don't swallow it back in. And Fuko stood up to her feet with a smile on her face and a gun in her hand, like a gangster, dressed like a gangster, with her bra top and tie, an open jacket, flexing a pose. And Andy stood behind her in his JoJo pose as his blood splurted out from his open wound. Hell of a journey, wasn't it? Sure it was, she said. Oh, mon ami, I'm glad. From here on out, not even I know how the story will turn out, but it's time you get your payback on our dome. I'm sure the two of you can do it now. Go forth, mon ami. And there was a weird explosion in the distance. It caught Fuko's attention. Rip and the rabbit flew up and towards Andy and Fuko. Backs, you take Unluck. The backs, you take Unluck. Backs. Oh, we got the okay. Let me see. Monty Python. I bet just no Monty Python. There we go. Here we go. We calling me Bax? Bax said. Huh? A rabbit? Fuko was shocked. As she and Andy were ready for their attack. That's a real pretty girl you got. Now give me to Bunny, a girl. Hold on. And Fuko planted the gun between her underneath her armpits, and removed the glove from her hand. But if they're negated too, then I can't afford to hold back. And she lunged at Bax with her hands raised, and she slapped Bax in the face. Okay. Meanwhile, Rip and Andy clashed in midair. Sorry, I don't think a big stroke of unluck will come though. What? What? She slapped me, go. Yeah. Whip, whoa. I managed to steal a dog. Bax began slapping up and down and everything, and Fuko realized what she didn't have in her hands. My gun. And there it was, wedged inside Bax's fuzzy hand. The 6-shooter slowly pulled inside. Whee! I got the gun. Guac. Go! Whip-woo! Are you alright? Bax immediately slipped through a hole as Andy jumped back and returned to Fuko as Rip are both frozen in the air somehow. Still too early for Bunny too. First Sean, now this. Nothing's going right. Weep well, Bax said as she fell down. Oh well, Rip said. I guess this will be easier if I handle it on my own. And Fuko eyes grew wide as a force of energy powered from underneath his feet. Why don't we work together to catch Autumn? She said. Pardon? He listened.
We're all negators here. Isn't our true goal to kill God? You should help us. But to do so, we need to catch Autumn,
she said.
Clear the 4 quests and...
Killing God is the boss's goal, Rip said. Creeds to take control of nations. And as for me and Latla, we want the ark that your boss supposedly has. Fang's collecting artifacts. Bunny is, well, I don't know actually, she's quite weird. Our goals are all different, but if our interests align, and only if they align, we get to work together and work as a unit. That's how we operate. That's Undead. Oh, if you could give us any info on the ark, then sure, we could fight together, no problem. But if you can't, then you're in the way and you could die here. Yes.
Ark, isn't that the thing Miss Juice used for the loop?
She said.
Why are you so fixated on the... Oh, mon chéri, you should give up on that idea. I already know.
Unknown interrupted and lifted her head up.
Now do you know La can ride arc? No, mon chéri. Huh?
Foucault turned around and listened.
In fact, on top of what you've already lost, you'll end up losing La well, mon ami. Oh.
And Rip remembered his past as he stared out at the grave. I killed her.
No, I killed my little sister,
Latla said.
If I hadn't told that fortune, then...
No, I was the one who did the operation. If I hadn't cut her, then Layla would be... And that's when he snapped out of his flashback. And he whispered, her life was unrepairable. That's why I'm going to use the ark to redo things. For her, I'm willing to risk it all. I don't care if it costs both legs the rest of my life, he said as Foucault and Andy listened on, or the lives of others. As he continued, as Sean lay dead and unknown was bleeding out from the arms. If you get that, then step back and leave Autumn for us to... It's the same way. Uh-oh.
I'm the same way.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
I'm the same way.
Latla screamed out from the comm.
Don't try to hog all the spotlight for yourself, Rip. If it means saving her, then I'll do whatever it takes too.
What the... Huh? Oh, I see. The panel, okay. Latla screamed out as she flew in the air, making her look bigger than Autumn itself, but she's in fact floating on a weird broom made out of a Harley Davidson motorcycle. As she flew across the air, following Autumn crawling over the entire landscape. Rip replied, "Yeah, I know, Latla." Bax emerged.
Big sissy why is where a good.
Latla screamed out.
Autumn is heading your way right now. It's that big book from earlier is drawing to you. What's the plan? Do we deal with it here?
Yeah, Rip said. Autumn is all ours. And Autumn immediately jumped, bust through the entire building, and everyone jumped into the air except for Unknown, who just sat there smiling, and everybody was ready to fight the big boss. To be continued. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca, number 050. It's up to you now.
Oh, and the Foucault powered up. They reconciled with Victor, and they thwarted Unseen's assassination attempt. Mon ami, mon chéri, that just leaves one thing.
Unknown smiled with the artifact in her mouth. And Autumn chased down Rip and Andy through the forest, trampling over everything.
Hey, isn't it bigger than before?
It must be going through its phases.
I I figured
Unknown said.
that while the 12...
Oh,
I figured that while the 12 were in the book, it was keeping it steady, busy keeping a steady diet of people. Well, we need to stop it then,
she said as she hanged on onto his back like Yoda.
That's for sure. But what do we do? But how do we do it? Does that mean it's even stronger than before?
Autumn turned his head to the side and saw them running up its arm.
Before your attacks didn't even make a dent.
Fuko said.
Yeah, before, but now.
Andy started sheathing his sword out of his arm. I've got this! Repair boost! Bloody enchant! Deep crimson crescent moon! And he sliced he sliced his sword right across the forehead of Autumn, shattering its shell into millions of pieces. It screamed in pain as the wound struggled to heal itself. Oh God! He screamed out.
You did it! That worked! You really do have this.
Fuko smiled as Andy noticed something was wrong. The regeneration resumed, and it sealed up the wound.
It's repairing itself,
she said as Rip stepped on Andy's head. I see, he said, and launched off of Andy. In that case, it's Unprepared's time to shine. He licked his lips as he jumped, as he launched himself right at Autumn and delivered a slice of his blade, and it shattered into pieces. He was shocked as he floated backwards. I can't lay a scratch on it.
Rip!
Latla said.
What are you just standing around for?
And Autumn raised up, launched down. What is that? Launched out something, and it spread out and started attacking everybody. They were all spikes that were whip-like, and everybody was able to successfully dodge away from it before it struck any of them. Latla floated next to Rip.
Hey, why aren't your attacks working?
Well, you're expecting a lot out of a kid, don't you think? He said.
Oh, mon ami, now then. Listen up, everyone. And listen good. It is French time.
And everybody turned in Unknown's direction. And Autumn was very kind enough to not take any actions and allow them a free move.
I'm about to draw the strong artifact I know. We'll use that to capture Audemars in this little Pokeball. Can all of you buy me time until I finish? I not exactly have a hand in this situation. If this succeeds, I guarantee that you'll be able to catch Autumn.
Huh? Sounds fishy, Rip said as he listened on.
Sick! It's all up to you, oh no!
Andy said as Fuko tightened her grip.
You got it, mon ami. Little to me.
La, is that a lie?
Yes. It's downright light at that. Oh, big pointy tail wing is never white, so it's gotta be true, I go. Shut up, bunny.
In that case, let's pick up the pieces after they're done duking it out.
That's no fun. No fun, I go.
Like I said, I'm just a kid, so lay off. The trio from under continue to argue as Autumn continues his generous offering of not delivering an attack and giving them all a free move. Unknown positioned the pen properly and was ready to draw.
Hey, mon ami, you know, I've had one strange life, so long, so sad, and in the end,
She remembered her old life, struggling to draw, only to accidentally create one out of thin air, and got an epiphany. And from that, oh, unknown true. Oh wow, Akira drew the present day unknown Wow. Oh wow.
and in the end, I couldn't get the message to mom.
Unknown drawing of himself hurried to the hospital and found his mother dead, having passed in the bed. And all unknown could do was cry.
But mom,
Unknown said,
can you see?
as she watched everyone fight Autumn.
That guy on there, he's undead. He may look scary, but he's capable of anything if it's for Foucault. The girl there is Foucault.
She said as she watched Puko hang on to Andy.
She's had a hard life due to her unluck ability, but ever since she met Andy, she's been fighting with courage.
And then she watched Rip dodging everything.
And the small one there is Rip. He's the person I wanted to tell you about. He's really kind and cool, but he suppressed it ever since losing someone dear to him. He'll be even cooler once he is an adult. Yeah, I know you always liked handsome characters, mama. Just hold on.
Then unknown began drawing a ball out of thin air.
I'll show you right now, ho ho, mon ami. Age Rip, 15 years, ha ha.
The orb that she drew cracked open, and a sheen of light fired right at him. It struck him in the from behind, and he screamed out, "Gah!" And he found himself back in his awesome rocking bazillion abbed body, and his shorts became short shorts, and his jacket became a short jacket. My body's back to normal, but this is the artifact that Fang used to heal me. The time control artifact, he said. He realized. Hmm? You dumbass. That's what he drew and used. What are you thinking when you use that? It takes the amount of time you manipulate it and makes. Oh. Wait a second. Is that. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, got it. It's still him talking. Okay. Okay. You dumbass. What are you thinking when you use that? He said. It takes the amount of time you manipulate it and makes you age 10 times that. Rip screamed out as he flew right to unknown and floated before her. How many years did you use? Hand the device over. If I use it on you, I can still make it in time.
Oh, mon ami. Don't worry. I'm just going back to being alone again. Oh, in order to capture Autumn, Rip, your power is necessary. I'm glad I managed to see and talk to you. Oh, yes, mon ami. The rest is up to you now, my cast of cool heroes. Ha ha!
And unknown collapsed into a pile of clothes and vaporized into the ether, and the artifact pen shattered in half. And everybody looked in horror at what happened as Autumn continued to generously sit there and not attack them, giving them a free move. To be continued, Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. All right. Ooh, that was a very, very sad set of chapters there. I'm very sad, you know. I'm sad for Unknown. Find out that that she was in fact a drawing. Man? What twist? Like there was a lot of twists, but the fact that she was in fact a drawing of a young man named Akira Kuno, man, man, what a crazy what is it? What a crazy trippy thing. But yeah, we opened up with Victor just outright agreeing to let Andy take the helm, and he recognizes Fuko's love in the same level as him and Juiz, and it's just how three-dimensional can Victor get that he sits there and saying that he can't stand the fact that that the woman he truly loves, Juiz, is hurting herself with these time loops. She's been doing these time loops, trying to stop, you know, the destruction of everything, and Victor's watching her spiraling down, and you know, through pain and everything, and he's like, I can't, you know, I can't let her do this, you know what I'm saying? And he's been trying to find ways to stop it, you know. That's why he's angry that that you know there's Andy and Fuko, because because it's interfering with him trying to set Juiz free, and it's very tragic, you know what I mean? Because yeah, who wouldn't want to sit there and be like, you know, why am I watching the person I love with all my heart torture herself with this thing? Just, you know, let's just stop it and let what must be, you know. It really affected his mind greatly. As for what happened in 1865, he's telling Fuko to just drop it. So we're never gonna know. Well, not necessarily. He did tell her to go see Juiz. He did, but he rather she just drop it. But you know, but he's like, just go, and we get this nice little amazing, well drawn, passionate kiss from Andy and Fuko, with Victor just walking off into the sunset. Very nice. You know what I'm saying? Like the chemistry is really well developed and everything. You know what I mean? They came a long way from Fuko freaking out over him running around butt naked to actually learning what's really going on with him. You know, the real truth. You know, and that's very beautiful. You know what I'm saying? When you truly learn somebody that you really care about and you really love, and you know your heart is like, I've got to do something, you know what I mean? I got to be there, and she really's been there for Andy. But then after that, that's when we get through. We start going through Unknown Un's arc here with a whole series of flashbacks, as we start finding out the truth behind her. Which was pretty shocking. It turns out that Akira Kuno found an artifact one day and ended up gone, just like that. The artifact did something which was never elaborated, but I can tell you the fact that the artifact did what it did to a human being, let alone, you know, a child. It's just quite horrifying. It really shows just how horrifying the world rules are right now. That this little boy, you know, didn't understand. You know, he didn't realize what really happened when he faced through the man as he was running home. But all of a sudden, you know, he realizes when he sees his mom, when he gets to see his mom, that he just goes right through her. She goes right through him, and it's like every parent's worst nightmare, you know, your missing child and everything. And it's just heartbreaking, that he's right there. Akira is right there, and she can't see him at all. Nobody can see him, not even the police. Nobody. These artifacts have proven to be very disastrous. Those things are disasters, and it kind of gives Juice's point of view of trying to stop this madness a very good perspective, because this was an unwitting child, a little child, just saw a little pen, a harmless little pen. He knew nothing about negators, nothing about any of this stuff, the Umas or any of that, and ends up getting dragged into what became a nightmare, and spent pretty much the bulk of his life not being able to be seen. He could touch physical objects, but physical people can't touch him. He can't be touched by people, and ultimately, he made the best of what he's been dealt with, and just became a full-on mangaka, and just made all the adventures that we've been watching, that we've been reading for the past for the past 50 chapters, and see it all come to fruition. So yeah, Akira became unknown, legitimately, and just started drawing manga and everything. He tried to do the best he could to find a way to get this into his mother's hand. He was the one who did To You From Me, which Fuko read in the very beginning. Nice circle back from the first panel. From the first panel all the way back to this. And yeah, his mother did read the book. Started reading the book. So did others like Gina and Fuko, a very young Fuko. Yeah, that's a very young Fuko there with her friend before all the madness happened. But his mother was bedridden at that point. And at the same time, everybody's fighting. We found out by another twist. Of course, these panels were like really showing time going very, very slow. But there was a person named Sean, who's about to make a move, ignoring Rip's orders. But yeah, I'm not sure what had happened. It seems a little confusing here as to what Unknown did. But I guess there was some kind. I guess a loop happened or something, that Unknown actually came across Andy, even though Andy can't see him, and he's still phasing through. That kind of threw me off too, this little panel here, because the action wasn't shown beforehand, of what of Akira passing through and everything. So yeah, he was shocked to find out that Andy was real, for real. So apparently apparently it started happening, at least in this timeline with Akira, and he came to grip that he came to realize they were fighting God, and all the characters who are officially now alive or something, trying to put an end to the whole thing, and get this crazy action shot of Juice and Victor staring out at the end of the world and everything. So he tried everything he can. Basically, he tried everything he can to get the book sent to the past, through the loops, to make sure that this information gets to everybody, so that way they can stop the madness and save the world. But yeah, I mean he figured out how to pull it off, and he even went so far as to get into the union's headquarters, while Gina was still alive at the time, and getting more information and finding this Dragon Ball, finding the Dragon Ball. but yeah, the slow motion sequence of Unknown's backstory while everybody's going very very slow, and I mean very very slow, and I'm very curious how that looks like in the anime. I'm very curious to compare it. But yeah, Andy ultimately did something really really crazy. And again, kind of threw me off a bit, but that was going to be the fate of Fuko right here. Unseen was going to kill her off, but Andy was able to, with his newfound abilities, slice the dude in half. This was the Unseen that they were after, but he joined Under instead. And of course, Unknown is very very happy that she was able to save Fuko, and now gave the future a chance for the fight. Yeah, these chapters moved pretty quick, all things considered. They moved pretty quick. But with Unseen now dead, another ripping Under are now ready. Seriously, word of advice: if there's vomit in your mouth, just spit it out. Don't swallow it back in. It's gross. That's gross. Of course, Fuko with the pose and everything, but Fuko with the pose. We got a new enemy named Bax, which is a big rabbit, a girl rabbit. We don't know what her negation ability is, but she did successfully steal Fuko's gun. And so, basically Rip has no problem teaming up with people so long as it aligns with his interests, and he made that very clear. He made it very clear: if you can get me the arc, well, I'll work with you. But they can't give the arc because that was what Miss Juice was using to loop, and he wants it for himself because we find out that just like Juice, he's trying to undo the past, and that is rescuing Latla's little sister who died, and they blame Rip and Latla blame themselves for her death. Layla, for Layla's death, and so he's completely PO'd on the whole thing. But unfortunately they don't have time for this debate because Autumn is on the way. Autumn detected Andy's power, and now it's going right for them, trampling through the entire mind you, Stanley Park, Vancouver, Canada. It's terrorizing Vancouver right now. It's terrorizing Vancouver. So yeah, these are some great twists going on here because they're now doing a big fight, which once again, sadly enough, Autumn is just standing there for some dumb reason. But yeah, they all start fighting Autumn. Andy's new power up successfully slices it, but it regenerates. Pretty cool. This is a pretty cool panel. I like that, saying with the slashing, the bashing and everything. But of course, Unknown Autumn just reforms and everything. So there you go. I definitely couldn't figure out what this is. Honestly, this was a little weird panel, But this panel right here in the middle, this slender one. It's like, what in the world am I looking at? Is that a hit? Is that something? It's so covered up by all the lines and everything that it was just difficult to recognize. So that was a little annoying, honestly. But yeah. Unknown had a plan. Everybody stops. And I mean everybody, even Autumn. Autumn has them dead to rights because they're all looking at her. And that's when we find out the real truth, and it's a very sad moment regarding Unknown. For that's not even the real Unknown. Akira, she's actually a drawing of Akira. Akira drew her bringing her to life when he found out that he can do that the artifact can make him draw things into reality. So he created Unknown, the female version of himself, to go and get to his mom and tell her what happened, what exactly happened, and he was too late. And he was too late. And Unknown, his drawing, had hugged and wept over his mom on his behalf, and she was reading all of his books at that point. So it was extraordinarily heartbreaking to see that he's still trapped. He's still trapped in there, phased out of reality. He's still walking in reality, but he's phased out still. And of course his drawing of Unknown Un, made the ultimate sacrifice by helping out Rip age up because he was shrunk down to a kid due to the time control artifact, which was used to heal him, and this artifact that she created out of thin air aged him up 15 years, so he could be able to be powered up and be able to fight Autumn, because he's the key to everything. And in the process, Unknown went bye-bye. She went goodbye. Because she aged her. Because the drawback of that item is that you age up. Whatever years you age a person up, you age 10 times that. So in other words, she aged 150 years. The thing is that she's a drawing at this point. Akira himself, the real Unknown, is somewhere out there. He couldn't, unless of course he died of natural causes or something. He's still out there somewhere, and this drawing of Unknown just vanished into the ether. It's very hard to tell, honestly. I would like to know what happened to Akira, because they're trying to make this a dramatic moment. And honestly, knowing that it's a drawing and not Akira himself, I don't really feel sad. I don't feel sad. I feel sad for Akira. He's the one who's trapped in a phase-like state. Unknown honestly, knowing that she's a drawing, saying she did her job. It was a great sacrifice and everything, but I can't feel, like that. I can't feel for her death, knowing that Akira is alive. Unless the last 3 chapters show that Akira did die, which will make me sad. Then I'll feel sad for both of them. But if he's still alive, he could just draw her again. That's the thing. He could just draw another one. That's the problem. She really is carrying the Dragon Ball. She can just Akira can just draw another one, and that's it. But it looks like he can't, because the drawing is broken in half. So but the pen is broken in half. So unless a loop happens again, Akira is trapped forever. So we'll never know. But overall, this was a nice improvement. It got a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like, Undead Unluck is it's good. It's good. It's good so far. But now that I hit 50 chapters, it's you know what I'm saying? Like, I would say the premise is good, but Tosca-san was trying to find a good focus. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of great ideas, but the execution needed a little bit more work. And it looks like here at this point of the story, the execution now is becoming more formulated. You know what I mean? Like everything on paper is saying this is gonna happen, but to get to this point here was tough because the way the world had to be built. You know, the mystery. I think what it was the mystery itself, in and of itself, was was coming on. The execution of the mystery was coming off detrimental. Like it's there, it's good, but the execution of that mystery was kind of being a hindrance because remember that there's a few characters that we meet and we don't get any names from it, particularly from the Union. You know what I mean? So there was just too many characters to follow and focus on, and that also pretty much hurt the whole thing because as you can see here, since it was completely focused on just Fuko and Andy. You know what I'm saying? And them meeting up with with other characters rather than the whole group dynamic, which was 11 people. It was nice and focused, nice and tight. We got and we got a good tight fight. You know what I'm saying? They meet the villains again and go through the whole rigmarole. And Unknown, we got a piece of the past and everything, as well as Andy and Fuko, Andy's past and so on. This whole sequence here, but I don't think. I don't think so much. Well, the mystery, the mystery was. I think the mystery was struggling because of the characters. There was just too many characters to follow. You know what I mean? Like when we got to the point to the Union, when the Union was introduced, there was 10 characters, and we didn't even get introduced to all the names and everything, so to speak. It just threw us right into the whole mix. Like nobody introduced themselves. You know what I mean? Everything was a guess, and when you're trying to follow multiple characters, say through the eyes of Fuko and Andy, that's a very tough feat to do, especially when you have Sho as your ally, to prevent telling. But nevertheless, everything got nice and focused here at this point, and everything is a lot more clearer now. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's a lot more clear. The question is how will when the entire Union comes back together again, when we have 11 characters at once, how will that be handled now that the whole entire plot structure has become clear and cemented and the world build solidified and we now know what's at stake. The stakes are established. That's going to be an interesting question to answer. I'm not sure if it's going to be done these these last 3 chapters to close out season 1, but it is something that I would like to see further on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking forward to see where the result's going to be. So yeah, there we go. All right. Comment, like, subscribe, follow. You know you want to. And head on over to Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com and grab yourself a copy of The Impossible Man, a strange fantasy novel written by me. You'll find the links down in the description below, along with links to other merch such as pins, t-shirts, music, and stickers. Help yourselves. Thank you for your patronage. Enjoy the products. If you're interested, you can volunteer over on my Patreon. You're more than welcome to. It's not it's an obligation. It's not it's a volunteer. You can volunteer. You're not obligated, but you're more than welcome to. And if you want, you can hang out with me on my live multi-streams on Twitch and Kick every Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. So, until the last set of Season 1 manga chapters, I thank you all for joining me, and I wish you all a good night, buenas noches, and oyasuminasai.